Hi there, my name is Young, real estate agent. Thank you for coming to my channel to watch this video. I want to talk about why first-time home buyers or buyers in general are not really coming to the market and they're being very skittish. I am dealing with quite a lot of buyers myself, and it is challenging for them to whether if they should decide to buy now, later, or they just hold. It's a challenging time and it's uncertain. We have a lot of uncertainties in this market, and because of that, I don't think a lot of people are excited to jump into the market or really look around. So I want to break down why the buyers that I talk to, the buyers that I meet and have consultation with, eventually why they decide not to pursue in real estate at this time. So first thing first is economic uncertainty. We do, as per Bank of Canada or people who are working in the field, economics, they do say we're basically in recession. And I'm not an expert, so I can't comment on that. Those things are spreading around amongst us and among the people in media. And also we do have some geopolitical issues as well. We do have, war between Iran and U.S. and Ukraine versus, Russia, and different. And obviously, tariffs are a big factor as well between us, Canada, and U.S. Every one of these things do matter, and they play a huge role in our economy. And all these uncertainties will definitely, push buyers back because, it's nothing certain. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in a month or two. Everything is always call to action. Something happens, and as people who are in Canada will have to face consequences one way or another, like gas prices. Our gas prices were going down and now it's going back up again. So those things do matter, and those things do hurt our spending, and it impacts us greatly. So that's that. And I think the second reasoning is buyers are waiting for a better deal, and rightfully so, because technically speaking, from last year to this year, prices has gone down, and from last year to last year, price has gone down. And anybody who bought between that time, they also technically, on the paper, they lost money. But you only lose money when you sell your property. Yes, there may be less gain down the road when you sell, when the market picks up. But if you don't sell the property, then you don't really lose anything. And I think that's one thing I think everybody has to understand. Let's say you have stock and you have let's say you have Starbucks stock that you bought it for $50 and now you're selling for 150. You gained some, right? And then right after you sold the Starbucks, you bought Starbucks stock again for 170, let's say. And now Starbucks stock has gone down to 130. And if you sell, you lost money. But if you don't sell, you didn't realize any losses. So technically, if you don't want to sell and if you don't want to realize those losses, then you don't sell. And it's same with stocks. It's same with real estate. You can buy whenever you want, and if you don't sell at the loss, then you're not in a loss. That's a fundamental idea that I do want to share. But other than that, we have been able to get better deals time over time as time passes. So I understand the buyer's hesitation in that aspect. And rightfully so. If you did wait from last year to this year, you would have bought something better for cheaper. But as for now, I'm just not sure how long this will play out. I do believe that we are very close to a rock bottom in not pre-construction one thing, but for freehold properties like townhouse, semis, and detached, I believe those properties are already bottomed out quite well. And for many properties or many pockets in Toronto, if they are in decent pocket and that has desirable area features that people are looking to buy, those areas are actually doing well. And those areas, they actually has gained in value since end of like earlier this year to now. So I will definitely do say it depends on where you're buying and depends on your micro area where you're looking at and your neighborhood. But ultimately, home prices, from my point of view, from my experience on the ground, are moving and they're selling. And I don't believe that we're going to have huge corrections down the road unless we have some major geopolitical events that happen as well. Then, obviously, then nothing matters. So next is I think there are too many choices in the industry right now. If you're thinking of buying, townhouse, semis, or detached, or condos, let's say, there's over at least 6 to 8 months inventory across. Easily so, even like the most desirable neighborhoods. Technically speaking, in Danforth area that I was working with recently, there was 100 properties that my clients were looking for, and amongst those, within 1 month, 10 properties were sold. So technically speaking, there's 10 months of inventory in the market. However, that being said, prices were still gone up from earlier this year, and most of the properties that are not selling because of their own reasonings as well. They need to be priced correctly. You need to have good features, and the property needs to be in pristine condition in order to be sold, unless it's really priced aggressively low in order for it to sell, if it's in a bad quality, poor condition. And because there's a lot of choices, people are hesitant, and people, obviously, buyers, again, they're thinking, oh, what if I wait a little bit longer? There may be something better. And if you're not seriously looking into buying, obviously that impacts you greatly, because if you wait another month or two, there may be something better comes out, and then you might want to pull the trigger. But obviously, I do believe that if you're really into the market, you want to buy something, you do know that, and I do know that as well, that not many good properties come into market, and not many good properties that are 10 out of 10, what you're looking for, come into market often. And I do believe that it's an excuse for people who are not seriously buying, but so I understand that aspect as well. Because, if you don't want to be fully committed to buying real estate either, if you don't need to be, you can be, sidelined, and I have no problem with that. And nobody has a problem with that. It's at the end of the day, it's your home, and what you want to buy for yourself is the most important factor. Like real estate agent, like mortgage broker, or any other people, your peers, they can say whatever they want, but ultimately you're the one who's going to live in the property, and it's you who decide that you want to buy a property that you like and you feel comfortable buying. So, and even for myself, my style of working is that if you are not 100% into the property and you don't like it, then I don't tell you to push an offer. I don't push you for an offer either. I tell you basically, okay, you can wait. You can wait for next offer. You can wait for next property to show up, because I also bought homes and sold homes for my own self, and I understand that what you're looking for is something that you want specifically, and you're looking to buy for that reason, because you want something, and you want to make sure that those criteria that you're looking for fit to your budget. And of course, as a real estate agent, I do need to make sure that I do educate my clients, or go try and error with my clients what is attainable and what is not attainable. That's a huge factor as well. And of course, a lot of buyers as well don't have the money to buy, and it's truthfully, that is what it is. However, if you are thinking of buying, and if you don't have the money now, but you want to buy it down the road, I do strongly suggest that you get a home buyer's plan and first-time home buyer savings account in order for you to start saving money, so you can buy down the road. Because if you keep it for 5 years, if you have your first home buyer savings account for 4 years, I do believe you can get max of $40,000 in down payment that you can make, and that's tax deductible. So that's something I would suggest that you do if you're thinking of buying down the road. And of course, lack of confidence in the market as well. I think it's very common for nobody wants to make mistakes. Nobody wants to make bad decisions in life, and rightfully so. Right now, we're in a correction phase, as we say, and we're in a down market. And everybody says you don't want to catch a falling knife when knife is falling, and I agree. I don't think that's a bad statement. I think it's a correct statement. You don't want to pull anything unless you need to. Housing is a necessity, and I do believe buying a home is a necessity. Well, not necessity. You don't need to buy a home. You can rent. That's not a problem. That's a choice that you make as well. And renting is fine. There's no problem with that. What I do want to say is there is no confidence in the market right now. And let's say that if you were telling your peers, saying, hey, I'm buying a condo and right now it's on, and I bought a firm, then everybody would say, congratulations, you bought a condo, good for you. But let's say you bought a condo and you have 5 days cooling period, or not cooling period, 5 days to get your mortgage fulfilled or home inspection to be fulfilled. Then you tell your peers that, hey, I bought a condo and it's under condition period. Then a lot of people say, why now? Why would you buy now? It's not a good market. And those do play a big factor in your psychology. Like, oh, am I making a mistake? So these lack of confidence in the market will have that impact on your decision making as well. And those decision making to you ultimately will have negative impact. And even if you think that it's important and you want to buy it, if a lot of people, your families, your friends, and people who bought around you and say like, oh, I don't think it's a good time to buy, then you backtrack and you don't want to work on it anymore. So those things do happen as well. And it's not, and it's your choice at the end of the day. And it might be the right choice and it might be the wrong choice, and only time will tell. And as for me, I just believe that just going around the areas, going around with a lot of buyers, going around with like showing a lot of properties and seeing how many of these properties are being sold and like going on the condition of sale. I'm just seeing those, and on my feeling on the ground that things are just moving. And of course, negative headlines does not help either. We have TikTok, we have Instagram, we have news outlets, we have every one of these outlets are saying real estate's not bad, real estate's terrible, it's not going well, it's brink of, everybody's trying to collapse. So those things exist, and those things will impact you one way or another. And I get impacted on different things in life, and because there's these social media especially are so geared towards what the algorithm is geared towards what you're looking and what you're watching. Those things will pop up once you keep watching them. So eventually it just it leads you to the point that makes you want to believe that a lot of people that are looking at what you're looking and what you believe in is similar to what everybody's looking at. But realistically, it's not always true. Everybody's different, and everybody has different algorithm. So if you are looking, let's say you're a buyer and continues to watch these doom and gloom videos on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, whatever, and that'll just come out. But if a buyer, let's say another buyer who watches like pre-construction or like selling, what area is good, all that stuff, those people will have different algorithm and they'll watch something totally different. So there's that different aspect as well. And lastly, from my point of view, I think this is very important, and one of the most important factor is employment uncertainty. And I think this is starting to subside down a little bit, but just about earlier this year or last year, there was a lot of uncertainty about with AI, because how AI was moving so fast and everybody was saying AI is going to replace everything. No, everybody was scared that they're going to lose their job. And they're not all wrong. A lot of people have, been laid off. There's a lot of job force. We're economically not doing so well. So there's a lot of job losses again, and not many companies are hiring. So those impacts are there, and employment uncertainty is the biggest factor, because buying a home is great, it's fantastic, but what's the point of buying a home if you lose your job within a year or two and you need to pay your mortgage for the next 20, 30 years? Doesn't make any sense. So I understand that aspect. I really believe it. If I was a buyer who had a job like 9 to 5, making like 100K, I can afford a condo, no problem. But I have the down payment and everything. But if my job is not certain, if my job is not secured, I wouldn't want to buy either. And I completely understand with that statement, and I completely understand what they're feeling. And there's nothing wrong with that. So hopefully, I do hope that, eventually our market will turn better and our economy will be lifting up to the point that everybody will be happy and everybody will be able to be confident in our Canadian economy, because rightfully so, everything has gone up so much. Grocery has gone up so much. The only thing that has gone down is actually real estate. So yeah, so that's really what I'm looking at. I look at everything. Grocery has gone up, cost of living has gone up, but real estate has gone down, and I think it's a good opportunity at the end of the day. Hey, you can correct me wrong. You don't have to buy. You don't have to buy, and it's your choice not to buy, and it's your choice not to own a home. I own a home for past 13, 14 years of my life. 14 years, yeah, and I have a pride in my ownership, and I like owning a home, and I do like real estate in that sense. So that's just me. Everybody's different, so that's what I want to say. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.